Rosy the Rascal 15 here, and today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Now, because I don't have my typical, recording equipment, and by that I just mean my phone, because my phone is acting up, so I'm having to use a different camera. So, deal with it. Anyways, that's not why you clicked the video. You were here to hear my thoughts on a classic horror film from the 1970s. Today I'm going to be talking about the Tobe Hooper classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. It was made on a very small budget and was a very memorable horror film, and I would argue this is the only horror film franchise this is the only good one in the series. No offense to anybody that likes the sequels. I'll talk about those in a bit, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for those who don't know, is a story about 5 kids that end up going to one of their... they just go visit a house that apparently one of their friends' father used to own, and they go there just to have fun. It's the 70s, okay? Kids would have fun, okay? There was no cell phones and social media and all that bull crap, okay? Kids did in the 70s was, just go on drives and just... If you ever seen Scooby-Doo, that's kind of like what kids would do back then. They would go around in their mystery van solving crimes and, eat doggy treats with a dog that would talk. Scooby-Doo was a very weird cartoon. Anyways, so the film is about, like I said, 5 kids going to their father's place just to hang out and have some fun, when all of a sudden on their way there they end up picking up a hitchhiker, which ends up being really creepy because this hitchhiker has a thing for let's just say he likes the slaughterhouse a lot. And he's very creepy in the film. I don't know how else to say it, but when they pick up this hitchhiker, he's so creepy. He's like laughing and he's like,
"Hey, have you ever had head cheese? You should have it. It's really good. You could come with my family and have dinner."
Yeah. And then he gets a knife and he cuts his hand. Oh man. Okay, there's gonna be spoilers in this review. For those who don't know, this is gonna be very spoiler. So for those who haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you've been warned. I'm going to go full spoilers. The movie's been out for almost 45 years? I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it, but for those who haven't seen it, stop watching this. Go out and watch it. It's a great horror film. If you haven't seen it, stop the review. Go out and watch it. I'm giving it my recommendation for you to go see it. In case you're wondering what the score is for this film, I'm going to give it a very high 9 out of 10. Okay? Got that? Alright, good. Anyways, going back to the review. So, for those who already seen the film and want to hear my thoughts, holy shit, this movie is just pure suspense. Okay? The moment they pick up that hitchhiker... No, scratch that. The opening part of this film with that, that narrator talking over the text, and then you get that creepy, that sound effect that plays over the dead body that's hanging in the graveyard, and they have, the skeleton there in the graveyard. You already know what kind of film this is going to be. Once you see that shot in the film, you're like, oh, we're in for something scary. This is not going to be your typical horror film. And then the credits play, and it's all red filtered. It's playing really disturbing music. This film, people, let me tell you, this movie does not let go of its horror or its suspense. It's a very scary film. And I would argue it's in the top 3 scariest films of all time. Some of y'all can probably disagree with me on that, but I think this is one of the scariest films of all time. So I think this is up there with the original Exorcist and The Omen. That's another great horror film. There's a lot of good horror films from the 70s in my opinion. To me, the 70s was the generation of the most that was the generation for really disturbing horror films. You had demon possession films and cannibals and stuff like that. Disturbing. Hills Have Eyes and all that. Jesus. Alright, anyways. This is a great film, like I said. So when you first get into the film, the kids are kind of okay. You don't really latch on to a kid in particular. They're kind of just just stereotypical, young teenage kids that are just having fun, driving along, making jokes, and teasing each other and whatnot. But like I said, as soon as they pick up this hitchhiker, it goes wrong. They get to their father's place, and once they reach there, they end up seeing a house that has their generator on. They go check out the house, and they find out that it's a family of cannibals. And I don't think I need to say who Leatherface is. I'm pretty sure everybody, even if you've never seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know who Leatherface is, okay? Everybody should know who he is. He's so iconic. You know, that chainsaw. The video games like Resident Evil 4 and The Evil Within would take, you know, inspiration from that with the whole chainsaw wielding madman. Iconic, okay? Very scary. I can't really go into too much detail because this is just the basic. The plot's not, you know, anything, you know, amazing. It's just a great horror film. It's a classic. The suspense is so damn good. The camera shots are so uncomfortable. They like zoom in on people's eyeballs, and they're just. The movie's filmed in a way where it just makes you feel claustrophobic and very unclean. Guys, girls, this is such a great film. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. Like I said, I'm going to give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre a 9 out of 10. And the reason why I deduct a point is because the only flaw I do have with the film is, like I said, the story, it's not amazing. The story's not amazing. But the experience is. And some of the characters, like I said, these kids they're kind of generic. You're not, there's no really any characters you're going to latch onto. Especially Franklin, it's his name, the kid on the wheelchair. Oh God, he was annoying. Ugh. He takes half a point off really for this review. But other than that, this is a great horror film. Go out, get it, watch it, stream it. I don't know, just watch the original. The sequels, I'm not really a big fan of. The part 2 was kind of funny and okay, but wasn't really crazy about part 2. Honestly, I sat down and watched like 20 minutes of it, and it just feels like a cheesy 80s horror film. Not a good movie in my opinion. The third one, I didn't even bother. The fourth one I've seen with Matthew McConaughey and Renelle Zellweger, I think that's her name. That movie's god-awful. I'm not even going to talk about that one. And then I've seen the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was okay, but again, I'd rather watch the original. I didn't watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre New Beginning, the prequel. I have not seen that, so can't give you my thoughts on that. I did see the Texas Chainsaw. I think it was just called Texas Chainsaw 3D. That was called. That movie sucked too. I didn't like it. They try to make you feel like the girl ends up falling in love with Leatherface in that film. That movie was terrible. And then there's a new one that came out just called Leatherface, or I think that's what it was called. I haven't seen that one. Just don't watch the sequels, okay? Honestly, the only one you should watch is the first one, okay, everybody? If you're curious, maybe part 2 in the remake, and that's it. If you're curious. But honestly, I say skip them. Watch the first one for sure, though. The first one is a classic. Guys, this has been your boy Rosy 15. Have a great one, everybody. And have a happy Halloween!